Hey guys, this is Mr. V over here doing a book review today for Tales from the Gas Station, Volume 2 by Jack Townsend. Before I get into my review, I want you guys to know that I do a spoiler-free book review, so if you see me looking down occasionally, I just have some notes so I don't give away any spoilers. So, let's get into the book review for Tales from the Gas Station, Volume 2. So the story is just continuing to follow Jack as he sees these crazy, horrific, and just like funny things that happen at the gas station. And it just follows his life. It continues. Now, if you guys have not done so, make sure you guys read the first book before going into book 2. Because book 2 is basically just a continuation right from book 1. It's almost like just the next chapter. And, and that's why I feel that it is best to read it right after volume 1. If you guys already read volume 1, just start on volume 2, because there are many characters and situations from book 1 which are brought up in book 2. And if you take too long a break, you might forget some of those situations, and then you'll miss some of the jokes, because he throws some jokes in with the situation that happened in book 1. Because chapter 2 gives a brief summary of book 1, but it is very, very brief. And it is more for those people who had taken, multiple months off before reading the second volume. And that's why I suggest just reading them back to back, because it takes this book, volume 2, takes place 2 weeks after book 1. And as I said, it's winter, so that plays into the story. And one thing that's really cool is that it starts out kind of talking about what happened to Vanessa. Vanessa was in book 1, they mentioned her, but then it was like she just disappeared and they kind of just dropped the character. But, because of how much crazy stuff happened in book 1, I just moved on. But I didn't realize that they had a whole storyline for it. And then they talk about it in book 2, because they start to explain it. Now, the writing for volume 2 is basically the same as book 1. There's still, it's all from Jack's perspective and his thoughts. But, and there's still the same humor, the same sarcasm, all of that is still played into this. And what's really cool is just, like, while this is very funny, the book, he is not using the same jokes as book 1. He's using new jokes and new sarcasm, so that is really funny. And that's why he also makes some winter jokes, which are also really funny. And what's really cool about this writing was that book 1, it showed many characters, as you guys know. But it showed lazy characters, creepy characters, and weird characters. But book 2, what he does is he brings a whole new dimension of character, and that's the annoying character. And I say that in a good way. There's an annoying character in book 2. And I say it's good because it brings in another essence, basically, of everyone has a life. They see the lazy people, they see the weird people, they see the annoying people, they see the good people. And it just shows that this author can write for a wide array of characters. And by bringing this like annoying character into it, it adds another layer of humor. So, that's why I thought that was really cool. And what else was very interesting about book 2 was that I noticed there were many longer chapters. That most of the chapters in book 2 were longer. Book 1 had some fairly short chapters, where book 2 was longer. Not too long, but they were definitely longer. And I felt that helped a lot, because what happened then is it led to a better story. Like, I felt the story in book 2 was way better than book 1. I still enjoyed book 1, and you guys saw, if you guys go back, you can check my review for book 1. I still gave it a nice rating. But this led to a better story, because this one, it was much more intriguing. It was much more suspense. That was one of the criticisms I had from book 1, was that it didn't always keep me super intrigued. I had fun reading it, but I didn't mind putting it down. But this one, I didn't want to put it down. There was so much more suspense, and I think it was because there were longer chapters. He was able to like flesh out the story a bit more. So I think that's what was really cool about this book. And what he was able to do with the writing, and I think the longer chapters, was he added more horror in this book. And that was really cool too. Of course, there are still funny elements of the horror, but he added more of it. So that was really, really cool. I really like that. And that's where it being winter and snowing out played a bigger factor. And again, it gives that sense of creepiness. And he just did a great job in writing it. Again, it still is very funny, but I was basically like, I was entertained when I was reading the book. I mean, I was entertained with volume one, but I was so entertained with volume two that I didn't want to put it down, so that was really cool. And I actually enjoyed the ending, you know. I thought it had a nice end, and it was, it kept you laughing, it kept you wondering. There were so many things right to the end. So like, I really enjoyed the ending as well. So, I actually had a lot of fun with this book. And I'm going to say that if you enjoyed book one, definitely you'll enjoy book two, because I was debating if I start book two, but then I just went right into it. And yeah, if you enjoy book one, definitely get volume two. Now, I'm going to give it my official rating. Remember that my rating needs to be taken into context. Okay, because I'm going into this knowing that it's a silly book, knowing what type of book it is. But anyway, for my official rating, I always rate my books on a scale of 0 to 10. A 0 is an awful book, a 5 is average, and a 10 is phenomenal. If it gets a 10, that should definitely be the next read type of phenomenal. Because again, a 5 is average, and I consider most books just average, to where it's hard for me to even move up 0.5 in my rating system because I'm known to be a tough critic. So anyway, I'm going to give it, remember, you have to remember my rating is taken in context, knowing the type of book it is, knowing that you're going to come in here with sarcasm and humor. So on a scale of 0 to 10, with a 5 being average, I'm going to give this book a 7.5. That, in my rating system, that is actually pretty high, which means that you guys should go out and get this book if you have already read volume one. Because volume one, I rated a 6.5, which is still pretty high. But I rated this one a 7.5 because I didn't want to put this book down. I thought that he was better with the story. He added more horror to it. Because the chapters were longer, I felt he was able to develop the story better. And, I was just entertained the whole time when reading. I was entertained the whole time in reading volume one, but I was more entertained with volume two. So yeah, that's why I'm giving it a very high rating of a 7.5, because there was just so much more suspense. Just everything was better than book one. It was an improvement over book one. If you guys have any comments, disagreements, any questions, please comment below. I hope you guys click the subscribe button because I upload many different video book reviews. Thank you for watching my book review today for Tales from a Gas Station Volume 2. I highly recommend you guys go out and get this. This is Mr. V. Go enjoy reading.